Yeah, they're exciting boats, and I don't think we're going to see anything like them for a long, long, long time. But let's switch to another exciting boat that we've had a couple of talk shows about these now while we're here because we had so many of the C-class guys here.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's close to our hearts. We've been promoting them and talking about them for years and years. And this year there'll be 6, possibly more racing in Newport. You're friends with Glenn, obviously. We've had Tim Datto here talking and hanging out.
Yeah.
You know the Macquarie Innovations guys. Any chance that you could get involved in that class? I know they'd love to have you around.
Mate, Glenn and I are actually itching to do it. We were speaking about it, and we'd love to. We've obviously done some good stuff with Fred, Fred Eaton and Magnus. So, yeah, I mean, we just haven't. We've just been so focused on this race that we haven't even booked anything for the rest of the year.
So Fred should give you a call right away and get this sorted out.
I don't know. I capsized his last one, so he might not get.
You didn't break it though.
Maybe I'm the last guy he'll call.
You didn't break it though. Am I right? I mean, the wing didn't break. It had a little bit of damage.
Yeah, I think Rossi and Rob had to do a little bit of work on it, but
Yeah. Well, I guess it was a nice rental anyway. What about the ACATs that you had out there in San Diego? Are those yours or are those?
Yeah, they were ours. We got actually Glenn and I have got some boats here. I think the ones in San Diego. I think we've got boats in Australia, and mate, they were awesome tools. I mean, for me, as soon as we went into the multi-hull, that was probably the best tool to get out there because these cup programs, there's so many people involved, and just the organisation to get it on the water and that. With the ACAT, you just wheel it in on the trolley on your own, run your own program, and you just can do some hours. Capsize it.
I'm going to do my first ACAT regatta here in a few weeks, I think.
Mate, you're going to love it. Trust
You sure
me.
I'm not just going to sink it?
You'll be right. It's amazing how good the big guys can go.
Yeah.
Because I was worried at first, but it's same old story. A little bit more luff curve, a little bit more shape, and you can hang in there.
Yeah. What about wings? I mean, they sort of grip the public consciousness, but obviously they have a lot of problems. Do they outweigh the advantages, or do the advantages outweigh the problems to the point that we might see people try and develop reducible area wings and really might see them get into some of the other classes?
I think so. I mean, you look at there's just a lot of risk with a wing, especially a wing of our size. It's just a lot of work. But then you look at like the wing that Dennis had, and that after the cup, I mean that boat with the wing up, they just left on the mooring, and I think it stayed there for a year. So there is ways that if it can be designed where it should be pretty user friendly, and they're just so efficient. But yeah, I mean there is some real inherent risk with with the big wings.
Yeah. This has been, I think, personal for a lot of people. It's obviously been personal for Ernesto. He seems to be an emotional guy, and he's used his pulpit to lash out really everywhere he can. He's made fun of Americans. He's made fun of you, and he's put these silly cartoons out there. And I think he's made it personal. I mean, have you felt that? Have you felt this to be a battle of not just boats, but of emotion? And how has it affected the way you've approached your campaign?
It's been interesting, because it's been hard to sort of not, just completely turn a blind eye to a lot of that stuff. But at the end of the day, I mean, and this is where Russell's been really good. He's just said to us, look, you guys just focus on the sailing, and don't get caught up with all this other stuff that goes on in the background. And having him being able to take on the whole legal side and all of that is it just allowed the rest of the sailing team really just to concentrate on getting that wing going, getting out on the water, and just focusing on the sailing.
Well, it's got to affect you. You have friends on the lingy that you haven't talked to in a while. Is it that bad, or is it just sort of?
To be honest, it's not that. I haven't seen it to be that bad. I mean, I don't know. I call it irresponsible, but I just haven't paid it any attention. Like I just.
Probably the smartest way.
Yeah, I just wasn't that interested in it. So, and then at the end of the day, it's just no time anyway. You're so flat out, just trying to. Well, I was just trying to get myself up to speed and make sure I did a decent job out there. That I just didn't have a whole lot of time to even look at that stuff.
Yeah. It's a bit ironic that that your sort of your gunslinging in the 32nd with Luna Rosa, and knocking Dicko out with two penalties and the one pre-start, and he got chucked immediately after that, and that sort of led Coots back into the team, and that sort of turned into your team. I mean, do you feel that sort of this bond with Russell over that stuff, and is there some kind of karma that goes on with all this that lets you have the cup right now in your hands?
I think I honestly believe that you know, if you do all the work and you're doing the right things, that it should, you know, it should come around, you know, and I. Yeah, I mean, with Russell coming into the team, like I've wanted to work with a guy for a long time, you know, and had an opportunity in the last campaign, and then luckily I didn't, because he ended up leaving Lingy, you know. But yeah, I mean, the guy's just so really good at the long-term strategy. There's just no egos in the team, and he's really, you know, big on that. But he gives you the burden of trust, you know, so it really allows guys to go out there and take a lot of responsibility on, and, you know, and really perform. So it's, but not only that, the best part about it is that he has a bit of fun, you know, and that's, you're so bound up and so serious. But the thing with him is he makes sure, hey guys, you know, let's, you know, make sure we enjoy this, because it's...
Honestly, that's why we like watching you, because you're always smiling.
Oh, mate, look at the boat. I mean, how could you not? I mean, it's actually the only downside of this is we're stopping the boat, you know, so it's kind of a bit depressing.
You're going to be a little bit bummed out to be behind the wheel of a monohull going upwind? Huh?
Yeah, I think I'm going to get into the moths or something for a while.
You have a moth, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a moth, but I can't seem to take it off my father and my sister and my brother, so I'm last in line.
AMAC, I know you're watching this. McDougall is one of our sponsors, but send this guy a Mach 2. I'm sure he'll take care of you for it.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can work that out for you.
Good.
They're quick. What do you have, a Blade Rider?
I've got a Blade Rider.
Yeah, the Mach 2s are
way
way quicker, so you'll have to get that one. And maybe you'll do Moth Worlds next year?
Well, it's right where I've got a
Sydney,
house.
isn't it?
Yeah, Lake Macquarie, where we did the ACAT Worlds, actually.
Yeah.
And awesome yachting. Awesome.
Got any room for us to crash on your couch?
Yeah, mate, more than welcome. I'll get the tent set up for you.
I love it. Jenny put together a few good questions for us here, and she knows your sister, obviously, and match racer. But this one was interesting to me, which is, you know, you were the youngest helmsman ever in the AC at 20 years old on Young Australia, yeah? And since then, you've pretty much, I mean, you've done other things. You've won the Melgus Worlds, you've sailed other, you know, the ACATs and other classes, but you've been a full-time America's Cup sailor for a long time now, to 11 years, 10 years. Are you bummed out that you've missed the Volvo, the Open 60? I mean, some of these other classes that are so exciting, and how are you going to work that into your future if you are?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. It's at the start I wanted to try and do everything, but figured out pretty quickly that if you try and do everything, you kind of do nothing well. And then I just sort of made the call that, look, this Cup is my real dream, and, you know, I really wanted to win it, so I just thought, right, I'm just going to go at it and see what happens. And so that really ruled out a lot of the other stuff. Probably the best thing about this campaign was that it opened doors up to a completely new discipline of the sport. And, you know, I honestly didn't give enough credit to the multi-hull stuff. And it's the same old story, you know, like you shouldn't make an opinion until you actually get out there and have a go.
Sure.
And once I got into it, I was just like, mate, there is something here, you know, like especially the offshore stuff, you know, like on Frank's boats.
Yeah. You
just think back to when you're doing a Sydney to Hobart and you're bashing away, and then you're out there on those things doing 30 knots, and you're just like,
eating tea,
what are we thinking?
Drinking tea, and eating
what
dinner.
What are we thinking on those? But yeah, it's I'd love to get into, you know, some Olympic stuff and the Volvo, but I just want to make sure I do it properly, you know, and if I do something, just do it 100% and do it well.
Well, let's talk about the Olympics. Match racing just got into the Olympics. I know your sister's fighting for a spot, so is Jenny.
Yeah.
What do you think about match racing in the Olympics? You think it's the appropriate place for it?
Well, I think it is. You know, I think it's good to have the disciplines of the sport there. You know, it's a shame that multi-hull's not there, because it's an awesome discipline of the sport. I think match racing's a great discipline. I think fleet racing, you know, and the Olympics, you know, that's really the pinnacle of that sort of one design racing. So I think it should be there. Also, I was in Sydney for the games then, you know, and that final, you know, between Jochen Schumann and Jesper Bank in front of the Opera House was one of the coolest things, you know, and the crowds that were following it. So, mate, I just reckon the sport is so diverse. We've got all these different disciplines. Why not show them at the top level?